President Barack Obama's farewell tour hits Chicago next week. But before heading home, he invited CBS 2 special contributor Jay Levine to the White House for a visit and a conversation. And Jay, we know it's coming up tomorrow. This has got to be very exciting for you.
It is, Rob. It's all about a standing request that I've had and been discussing with the White House for several years now. Let a Chicago reporter come in and sit down with the Chicago president for a little while. They assured me repeatedly that it'll happen. Well, now, with 2 weeks and a day left in his second term in office, it will.
It was one of those nights I will always remember. Not only where I was and what I was doing, but how I felt about history being made and reporting on it right there in Grant Park.
Hello, Chicago!
I had covered the president-elect for years as an unsuccessful congressional candidate, a state senator, U.S. senator, and rising star on the national political stage. From the moment the man who would become his White House senior advisor first told me about what he called a remarkable young man.
Barack Obama is the most consistent person that I know. His fundamental values, his principles are the same that I saw in a young man when I met him when he returned from law school back in 1992.
His values may be the same, but for those of us who covered him, that night back in 2008 changed everything.
Yes, we can.
One-on-one interviews were limited to national or international news organizations or tactically targeted to swing states for political purposes. Chicago as a safe Democratic stronghold did not apply.
Hi, this is Barack Obama. How are you?
The only time Chicago and Barack Obama answered questions about Chicago from a Chicago reporter was on the rare occasion that he recognized one of us at a presidential news conference, like the one after a NATO summit in Chicago.
I am going to call on a Chicagoan to ask a Chicago question. Jay, good to see you. How you been?
Good to see you too, Mr. President, and good to see you in Chicago. Chicagoans look at you standing there with Chicago, Chicago, Chicago on the wall behind you. There's an undeniable sense of pride.
Or when he spotted a familiar face or heard a familiar voice in a faraway place like the International Olympic Committee meeting in Copenhagen.
Do you feel you accomplished what you set out to do?
I think Chicago could not have made a better presentation.
What then will we find when we finally get to speak directly to him about how he's changed, what he's done, and what comes next? Axelrod predicts.
I think he would say he's wiser and maybe a little tougher, but not jaded and not cynical. And I think one of the things that he takes great pride in is that neither he nor the people around him have become cynical, despite the fact that it's been a very, very tough 8 years.
There are no restrictions on what we can ask him, but tight restrictions on the time we'll have when we finally go one-on-one with Chicago's president at the White House. Rob and Erica, back to you.
It's been a long time coming, and we do look forward to it. Thank you, Jay.